Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Post Credits Podcast, a podcast where we talk about movies. This is episode 12, recorded on January 12th to get posted to podcast
Synergy.
services.
12, baby.
To get posted on podcast services on Tuesday, January 14th, to the usual spots: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and then to YouTube a day or two later.
Yeah, and now we're in 4K, so what?
We have a good episode, and on this episode, we're going to talk about, and we're going to do introductions. We're going to talk about box office that we missed last week and catching up with this week. A movie recommendation by Roger. We're talking about Den of Thieves and Gerard Butler, which is actually, I think, the
Pantera.
Well, we'll talk about the first Den of Thieves and then the Gerard Butler effect, and then Den of Thieves 2, Pantera. I am one of your hosts, Grayson Maxwell. Joining me as I do every week are my co-hosts, Roger Stillian and Chris Bond.
Yo.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Good. We are
Question
good.
number one.
Yeah.
What role would you play on a heist?
Oh, I'm the face, or I'm the guy who has to talk a lot or loudly. You know what I mean? Any of those things.
The diversion.
Yeah, kind of like.
So you're like Tyrese in Fast and Furious.
Yeah, way less good looking though. Just as a note.
Just as loud. Just as loud.
Yes, sir. I don't know who I've been thinking about who I am. Who would you guys say I am? What guy am I in the heist?
You're the fall guy.
Oh, thanks, fall guy. I'm Tails and I'm the fall guy. I'm always
You're the guy that gets caught. Like, for sure.
You're the guy that we have to break back out of prison because, oh my God, someone betrayed us and they put Grayson in there. Yeah, something like that.
Oh, no. Or you're the guy that's very aloof and then everything gets pinned on you and it's 100%. Every bit of evidence points that you absolutely robbed this place.
I'd be the fall guy. Okay, fair. What about you, Roger? What are you? You the driver? What are you?
Setup man, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the planner.
Yeah, or the guy who fucks the rest of the group. But either one, you know what I mean? It's fine. Do each their own.
I could be the double cross.
Yeah, you could be.
I could very easily see Roger being a double crosser guy. just saying.
Yeah.
That's also why you're the one that gets pinched.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Guys, how are you?
This is a bad judge of character.
Yeah.
I am in California with all these crazy
How are you actually?
I'm okay. It's a little crazy out here. I know. So I started my
Wait, are you still working like full go or?
Yeah. Well, last week was my first week.
Okay.
And we're supposed to go to the offices starting tomorrow, although I don't know if it's going to happen because the office is right next to where one of the fires was. So I don't know if that's still happening, but it's crazy out here. And I have seen the news and I've driven around and I've seen some of the coordinated efforts between some of the firefighting crews and the police crews.
Okay.
And it's really impressive. And I just want to, as someone who now lives out here, I just, thank you for doing what you do, guys. Just the servicemen and women who are working tirelessly around the clock to help put a lid on this. Those of us who live in the area, we appreciate you not letting the rest of us burn. Thank you.
I don't mean this as a joke, so I want to preface with that. How's the air quality? Like
not great.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Did you see the hellscape picture where it's like black
did.
and then red and then buildings?
Yep.
Actually, did you see? So the scale of what's burned out here. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I just saw someone compared like a scale of like Manhattan. So a larger section of Los Angeles has burned than like Manhattan can almost fit into twice.
Jeez.
Of what's burned, and then,
That's
like just to give you guys a scale of what it's bonkers what's going on out here. But the air quality is. This is the first time I've seen this many masks since the mandate was lifted.
Gotcha.
I don't blame nobody because like that shit's brutal, man.
Yep. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, like I didn't want to say like LA's known for some smog issues, so I didn't want to like say it like that. So yeah,
it's actually come a long way.
Yeah, LA is though. It is known for, so people do wear masks because of that, but nowhere near the amount of masks I've seen the last week and a half. So it's been a little crazy. But
stay safe, buddy. That's crazy.
I will do my best. What's going on with you guys? How's things? One of the first weeks of the new year.
So that was
cool. Yeah, we had a first. So like, I don't know. This is the first real good snow in a couple of years. I think, and like my kids got to like really enjoy it this weekend. It was cool. My oldest had a birthday this weekend, which one of the things we did was go play in the snow since we didn't have like the ice skating that we were gonna have. So that was cool. So yeah, I mean, it's been a busy week. But a good week.
That's good.
Well, snow's always fun until it gets like brown and really kind of in your way. But like it's really great. It's really pretty when it's falling, and like that's the magic. And then when it sits on the side of the road for 4 weeks because no one's cleaned it up. And
I don't know. We were out there hanging out and stuff, and a couple of their parents were there, and so it was like, all right, well, I'm done. I'm okay with winter, being away now. Like I looked around, and like everything was everything was like gray, like the sky was just like nothing but like a dark gray, and the tree and everything was white and brown, and gray. I was like, I love winter. It's so gray.
It is fucking awesome.
I like I don't know. It fits into the whole like I like depressing music vibe. I think I like that.
Ever since I was a little kid, one of the things I love the most, because we used to get far larger snows in this area.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it seemed with more regularity we did. I love how quiet it is when it's snowing.
Yep.
Like just that muted, just silent air. I'm just like, I fucking love that.
Yep. Well, I mean, the snow also acts as a natural like insulator
Dampener.
for sound too everywhere. So
Yep.
Nope, I agree with you.
I love
100%.
it.
It's fantastic.
It's that muffled sound of. Yep. I do agree. I do agree.
A few years ago, I had my SLR camera out in a pretty decent snow, taking like black and white pictures of stuff. It was fucking awesome.
Heck,
I haven't done that in forever, man. I need to fire that bad boy back up.
You should. That's good stuff.
It was. I always make them just good enough, and then I was just be like, "This looks like shit," and everybody else would be like, "That's good." I'm like,
"My God!" You're like, "No, this isn't my quality standards.
No.
I'll never be
I could have done better with my iPhone. Thank you.
Jesus,
that's probably true.
There's more technology in your iPhone than took people to the moon.
Buddy, there was more fun in my Nokia brick that I used to play Snake on.
There's probably more technology in the Nokia brick than your iPhone right now too, but
probably
that's a whole
keyboard.
It's a whole other conversation.
Yep. Oh well.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
What we got?
Well, gentlemen, we have a show. Let's talk about some things.
Yes.
Let's talk about some box office. Let's go ahead and get started there with the box office.
Sure.
And this week, let's talk about it. We didn't get caught up last week, but this week we'll catch up right now. Den of Thieves 2, the number one earner at 15.5. Not the strongest week, but a decent week. 15.5 million with a worldwide of 15.5 million.
15.5. All right.
And makes sense.
Number 2.
Right on pace, baby.
Yeah. Mufasa, the Lion King, 13.2 million with a worldwide of 539. It's creeping up.
I think it's creeping along. I don't know about up at this point.
That's fair. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, 11 million with a worldwide of 384. That's still ahead of Mufasa. Holy moly, I lost that bet. Man. Disney, what have you done to me? Nosferatu, 6.8 million with a 135 million worldwide, which is not too shabby for a movie like that.
It's got to be pretty good for them.
Yeah, against its budget, it's probably fine.
Moana 2, 6.5 million, $989 million.
I still can't believe that.
That's right, baby.
Just
to that billion.
Yep.
That's crazy.
2 weeks.
Yeah, it'll be there. It'll hit it.
2 weeks.
I certainly hope so. They need a win like that. They haven't had one for a while. So.
I don't think they deserve that win, but that's just
I mean, like, look, a win's a win.
Yeah.
Listen,
I mean,
either you hit a 3-pointer at the buzzer or you blow somebody out.
Yeah,
that W looks the same on that score.
I don't know. I saw that movie. I don't know if they deserve $1 billion for it, but it's fine.
Hey, it's fine.
Yep.
We all saw that movie.
We all saw that movie.
We did. Number 6 through 10 are as follows, real quick. Wicked, A Complete Unknown, Baby Girl, Game Changer, and The Last Showgirl.
What the fuck is Game Changer?
The game. Oh, we saw a trailer.
We've seen
for that.
trailers for it. We weren't very.
An honest IAS officers fight against a corrupt political system through fair and transparent elections. Yeah, I'm sure that was real popular.
Yeah, that sounded riveting, right?
Timely?
Yeah. So Wicked, I just want to see where Wicked is.
What's its to worldwide?
700.
697. Good guess, Chris.
700.
All right. Yep.
700.
Yep.
And The Complete Unknown is not doing well. That's at 50 million. Look,
it's for a movie that's got multiple Oscar noms. It's right where it should be, man.
Yep, it's fine.
I agree. That's the same guy who did Logan. What's his name? Mangold. James Mangold. Yeah, and Timothy
Chalamet. Star of Logan, Timothy Chalamet.
I'm thinking now he might be able to be Wolverine, though. You know what I mean? Be the tiniest Wolverine.
He's pretty skinny.
He really is. He's lithe looking. Actually, he'd be a good Nightcrawler now that we said that. He's got the hair for it and everything.
It's true.
He's got the hair for Nightcrawler. Make it happen.
Well, I mean, if you remember, we talked about he was the original choice for Gladiator 2.
Hey, man. I watched Timothy Chalamet like 6-7 weeks ago during the college football season come out.
Oh, yeah.
On game day.
Yep.
And like lay down his picks and like crush it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I respect him as a ball.
I
respect it. Listen, I'm 100% sure he got coached up. But listen, that man's an actor.
Yeah, he did well.
And he was the only person that predicted one of the wins.
One of the what was it? Macaulay Culkin. One of the Culkin brothers was also
Kieran. He's been very popular lately.
Yeah, he's been showed up again, doing some interviews and stuff, and he's also been saying some pretty direct shit about just the way he feels about like the current way that the whole Hollywood works and stuff, and is just talking about it. So
so I actually saw a funny video about him. So one thing I do want to talk about, I don't want to derail things. So like Netflix had something big start this week.
WWE, right?
The WWE thing, their regular live event, which actually went off flawlessly.
And I guess it was huge,
very well received, pretty decent show overall, massive reception, flawless. Like much like their NFL stuff, they seem to have gotten their live things figured out, which is good. Kieran Culkin was actually ringside the night after the Golden Globes and actually had a full-on conversation with CM Punk, the wrestler.
Yeah, yep, I saw
He's
that.
like, didn't you win a reward? He's like, yeah, last night. He's like, that's fucking awesome, man. Like, after a match. I think that was the funniest shit I'd seen.
Yeah.
He's like, I fucking love you, man.
They kind of look alike, too, currently.
They're very similar. Yeah. Very similar.
Yeah. Good stuff.
I mean, listen, congrats to Netflix for that, though. For one, securing the rights to that, but two, like, coming off very, very good. I mean, listen, we'll see, like, tomorrow and as it goes a little bit farther away from the beginning to see how much that stuff changes, but they paid a lot of money for that.
I mean, Tyson versus Paul was probably a good stress test for him, too, for, like,
well, here's the thing. They had, every other live event they had failed the stress test part of it. So
yeah, this one they hit.
Well, that's what I think after the Tyson Paul thing, the NFL had to have been like, hey, man, that can't happen.
Yeah.
And somebody went, what do you mean? They're like, I don't know. What do we mean? Fix it.
Yeah.
The fuck? What are you
Figure
talking
it out,
about?
Netflix. Figure it out.
Hey, and they did. So good for them.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yep. Well, thank you for bringing that up, Roger. Let's stick with you with a movie recommendation.
Sure.
Roger, take it away.
Man, so like I was torn here on what movie to actually talk about. So I decided, because like we kind of voted, because I laid it out to the guys. So I had it narrowed down because Den of Thieves is a heist movie. So I picked two heist movies that I think are excellent. One is The Town, and the other is Wrath of Man, which is like a heist movie / vengeance movie.
Yep.
Like a lot of vengeance in that movie.
A lot of vengeance.
Justice is very dispatched in Wrath of Man. But I started on The Town with Ben Affleck, Jeremy Renner, and all them. God, what a solid flick that is.
Yeah, I mean,
pull my specs for The Town here.
Well, like the Town, like I don't know, I remember when it was coming out, almost like no buzz from like my perspective, but then like it, seeing it later on, it was like, oh, this movie's like kind of rad.
Yeah.
So.
Like, listen to this cast list. Okay, besides Ben Affleck, you have Jeremy Renner, you have John Hamm, Rebecca Hall, Blake Lively, Titus Welliver, Chris Cooper. I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah.
So many.
Pete Postlewaite. Yeah, I mean, my God.
Yep, Pete Postlewaite's there. Yeah, all kinds of.
And that was directed by Ben Affleck, who
it was.
Yep.
It blew because he had just done. That was right after Gone Baby Gone, which like, where did that come from? That's the best movie of 2007, bar none. And it's just wow, like just what he. It's funny because like he was such a joke as an actor in the early 2000s and late 90s.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he just
like
comes back stronger.
Yeah, just he wrote it and directed it, I believe.
Yeah.
But the part, so like my favorite part of The Town, like they have some elaborate heists in this movie, like one when they rob Fenway, awesome, getting that shootout in the tunnel or whatever. But you remember at the end where like he's getting ready to leave town and the FBI's all over him and John Hamm walks by and there's just a post-it note on a card. He's like, where the fuck are you? He's like, I'm going to find you. And then there's just a post-it note on a card that says, fuck off. And like, I always thought like, that's so clever. Like what a way to dig at somebody. This says fuck off on it. Oh, it was great.
You know what's funny is like, I don't. So if you remember, I'll talk about Den of Thieves, how it was just like a dollar store version of Heat. I actually think Den of Thieves is a dollar store version of The Town, which is kind of a not a much lesser, but kind of a lesser version of Heat. But it's not the same movie though.
Yeah. So listen, Heat's one of my favorite movies because Heat's an incredible movie. Have you ever watched Heat, Chris?
No, I don't think
you should watch Heat.
I will
get it to you.
That's the through one of the Blu-rays that you own, no doubt, Roger.
Yeah, 100%. Sure.
Yeah.
Heat's where the shootout. That's like the shootout movie. That's where it comes from.
That's like the movie. Like at one point after a botched bank robbery, Val Kilmer is walking down the street just with automatic weapons, just annihilating the cops.
Do they have they got like president's masks on in that? Or is that a different?
No, that's Point
Val?
Break.
Okay.
That's
You
Point
said
Break.
Val Kilmer, so I was that's
But,
right.
Val Kilmer, Tom Sizemore, the whole crew.
Yeah.
I
De
mean,
Niro.
that's Pacino, De Niro,
Okay.
yeah, all those guys. Yeah, that movie's awesome.
Hmm.
Also, so like they wrote. Did I ever tell you about the sequel to Heat?
What?
So
There's a book. Yeah.
There's a book written by
Ah.
Michael Mann, the guy that
Okay.
wrote and directed Heat. He made a book. And it's
Huh.
called Heat 2.
Oh, all right.
So
Gotcha.
I have yet to read it. It is in my library. It is coming up in my library.
Nice.
So
Nice.
feels very dude movie.
Yeah.
Heat 2 still hot.
No, dumbass. It would just be hotter.
No, yeah. Don't do
I'm
that.
just kidding. Jeez Louise. Anyway,
Hey, you're
back to
terrible.
town.
Terrible. at this.
Thank you.
I mean, listen, the town's a good movie.
Yeah.
Like you have Jerry Renner playing your classic fuck up cousin, and he's just like he's along for the ride, probably a little bit too high strung. We all have a cousin like that, right?
Yep.
Like if anything goes wrong tonight, it's 100% because he was involved in it in some way.
We have a cousin like that. I have cousins like that. It's fine.
Okay, at least
Oh,
one.
yeah, there we go.
Sure. I mean, a plethora of family members like that in my family. But yeah, like when he shows up at his house after like they've been fighting, he's like, "We're gonna hurt somebody." He's like, "Okay."
Yep. That conversation is what's iconic about the town to me, and it's such a good, no questions. Are you in or are you out?
He comes up. He's like, "We're gonna hurt some people," and he's just like, "I have one question. Whose car are we taking?"
Yep.
And they get in the car and fucking leave. They go beat the shit out of that guy.
Yep.
The town is just
awesome.
The movie moves well. It's well cast. It's like there's so many elements that work in its favor. And again, I had to put that in Ben Affleck's because like he was the one that would have made all those decisions.
Yeah,
so
does an
like
awesome job at it.
I'm really glad that we got that. That's a great movie though. Come to think of it, it's like, and it's also just so a listener knows, it is available if you have Hulu. It's available to stream, and it will be on Amazon shortly. So just if you won't listen to this for a few weeks down the road after the 14th, then it'll be on Amazon. But it's right now on Hulu. If you have Hulu, you can watch The Town.
Grab Hulu if you don't have it and look around, or at least do the free trial, because Hulu is actually one of our favorites of the streaming networks. They have some good stuff on there, honestly.
They have some pretty it's a pretty good quality through line on Hulu.
Yeah, there's more hits than misses on their stuff. So
for the original stuff, especially.
Yeah.
And they have Palm Springs.
And they have Palm Springs. You know
Roger loves Palm Springs. That's a 10. That's
Palm Springs. They got.
I want you to know I wasn't actually going to bring that up.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, they
fucking
got some good stuff.
10.
Yeah,
it is indeed. All right, guys, let's go back in time a little bit. Let's talk about Den of Thieves for a minute.
Into the Wayback Machine.
Into the Wayback Machine. So Den of Thieves, let's just for kind of conversation's sake. So the Den of Thieves has a Rotten Tomatoes of
41
and 63 and a Metacritic of 49. Now, just like me, I was talking to Chris earlier today. He remembers Den of Thieves being kind of received as, isn't that movie terrible? Like people say that movie's awful. But 49 as a Metacritic score, I don't think I remember it being like that's higher than I remember it. That's higher than the movie I remember seeing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm at odds with. And so I just rewatched it going into this episode, and the movie is built on the fact that it's Pablo Schreiber against Gerard Butler. They just kind of punk each other over and over again, to the extent where like Gerard Butler has sex with Pablo's girlfriend, comes out of the bathroom when Pablo comes home in the morning, and they pretty much have this weird dude stare down of two guys who just want to beat the shit out of each other. And it's wonderful because there's no words, and it's just two really big dudes staring each other down. And that's one of my favorite scenes, but there's several other scenes in that film that like are meant to be edgy.
It's a very dude movie.
Yeah.
It very much is. I mean, I think Gerard Butler is the reason that movie even got. I don't think that movie would have existed other side than Gerard Butler. But
dude, in the first 10 minutes of the movie where he's eating the donuts from the crime scene, he just picks them up. He's like, "Did you catalog those?" He's like, "Yeah." He just stuffs it in his mouth.
And very much like he takes a few bites of the donut and he throws it onto the active crime scene, and the guy
back into the crime scene.
The guy that he's squabbling with, like the FBI, it's like, "Did you just throw that donut back in the crime scene?" He goes, "Oh, I guess I did." And like awesome.
Big Nick, baby.
Big Nick. So just some quick memories of it. I was not a fan of Den of Thieves when it came out. I was not a fan of it whatsoever.
I mean, story's pretty soft. It really truly is.
Oh, it's
And
just
if it
a
didn't have the
rehashing.
epic shootout at the end, like
It does, and that's the thing is like it without that shootout, the movie almost doesn't have a reason to exist.
Mm.
yeah.
But
Again,
just
though, it's a movie that has intentional misdirection.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like they don't show you. Like there's no way you could figure out exactly what's going on because they don't show it to you. So I
Yeah.
mean, I have talked about this in other things that I've done about how I think that's an unfair cop out for movies
I would agree.
because like you just want a clever twist. But here's the thing: like that movie's not overly clever. But I mean, there's nothing overly wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's just a cops and robbers movie, right? Like we've seen 1,000 versions of that, but this time with it's just two big dudes that want to beat the shit out of each other, and the one guy drinks too much and goes to strip clubs, and they race cars down the fucking highway, and like everything you'd want a movie that was 2016 came out. Like if that movie was in 2001, people were like, "Yeah, it's fucking rad, bro."
Yeah,
We'd
be on Den of Thieves 16 right now if they would have put that out in 2001.
Just right in the Fast and Furious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just
that's right. So
actually, that was 2018, Roger.
2018. It's close enough.
Yeah,
2018. Well, I mean, 2-year difference. It was
it's fine.
Well, that's right in the middle of his Mike Banning stuff. So like, that's the thing is like, I mean, he's kind of cemented himself as one of these action stars that we just kind of love. Now,
sure.
Question for you: how much does he owe to 300? Do you think? Let me ask you that question. How much does he owe to 300?
255% of his career.
I would probably agree with you. What about you,
I don't.
Chris?
I don't think if he makes 300, I don't know if he is the star he is today. Because if you guys remember that, what was it? Law Abiding Citizen came out almost right after, like
he's the bad guy in that.
Immediately after 300 wrapped, right?
That was 200. That was 2 years later.
Yeah, so it's like I mean, I don't think if he's as he does 300, he doesn't get a few of the shots he gets right afterwards. He's not the guy in some of these movies he's in. I think that's what really catapulted him into at least into like superstardom for for a time. And he's just now he does have a niche that he's kind of filling. He's probably fine with that, honestly, because those checks probably cash just fine.
True.
And, yeah. So. But no, I don't think he's as big if he doesn't do 300. Not
he's done some weird. But that's
look at his filmography though, buddy.
Yeah, it's huge. It's massive.
There's a lot, and there's some garbage on here.
He was in Dracula 2000. I totally forgot that. I didn't even.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
The first time I knew who I even like recognized him, like I can remember.
He's in Rock and Rolla in 2000.
He is the first time I thought like I knew, like I was like, oh, I recognize that guy. So I saw something before that was Attila. It was like it was almost like a made for TV film about Attila the Hun.
Oh, he's in Reign of Fire.
Yeah. I actually really love Reign of Fire.
Reign of Fire is like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a bad movie, but it's like one of those bad movies that like, I kind of like this guy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And Timeline is too. Like Timeline's atrocious. Like a whole new level of bad that we don't talk about often. But
that book sucks too.
Yeah,
but it's fun, and it was like it was a summer reading book, so it was an easy make. That's what I'm saying is like it was an easy choice for him. And then
he did Ugly Truth, the R-rated rom-com, which he was actually because he just played a dude in that movie too.
Yeah, he was just the guy. Yeah,
but The Ugly Truth is considered like one of the worst movies of all time.
I was gonna say,
but here's the thing: that was very popular.
I was gonna say, I know I've seen that movie. I know I didn't like it when I saw it. So,
let's just if we're using 300 as a springboard, like that was the first time like Gerard Butler was Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
I mean, right after that was P.S. I Love You, Nim's Island, Rock and Rolla. The Ugly Truth, Gamer. We can't forget about Gamer. Like that's a very action-oriented film.
Sure.
Law-abiding citizens. That's a big one. The Bounty Hunter with Jennifer Aniston. Another like one of those really awful movies. And then How to Train Your Dragon 2010. So like he's got a really wonderful filmography, I think. Machine Gun Preacher, which people love or they hate. I don't really meet anyone in between.
It's fine.
I've never even seen that. I don't know what that is.
Playing for Keeps is the other one that people consider one of the worst movies ever made.
So he's got some zingers in there. Is what you're saying?
He really some Razzies, that's for sure. Playing for Keeps. And then the 2013 Olympus Has Fallen, which is a big deal for me. I'm a big fan of that
Mike
movie.
Banning guy.
Yep.
And then as a second, How to Train Your Dragon, Gods of Egypt, which I remember the conversation surrounding that is like
Gods of Egypt is such a weird bad
fucking
movie.
awful.
Yeah.
It's pretty terrible. London Has Fallen the next year. A Family Man, which I don't know many people remember that one. It didn't get wide released. I had to hunt it down years and years later. But Geostorm, which I actually don't
Geostorm
mind.
is fucking. But here's the thing.
Yeah,
That's awful.
Yeah, Geostorm is not great.
Den of
It
Thieves.
is not about a small car.
Hunter Killer.
Remember Geostorm? They were little shitty cars. My buddy had one. They saw. I think.
No, wasn't it just
Sucks.
Wasn't it just a Geo?
The Geo Metro.
No. So the Geo. There was the Geo Metro, the Geo Tracker, and the Geostorm.
Oh god.
Those are real car names.
A buddy.
Just
of mine,
Google Geostorm car and like look how fucking terrible
a
this
buddy
thing
of mine
is.
had a Geo Metro that he had souped up.
Oh yeah, like
and
tricked out.
He left it shitty on the outside, but that thing went, and yeah, he.
Hold on, the
Good
Geostorm
Lord.
looks like a sports car.
I mean,
looks like
its name kind of sounds like it.
90 to 93 was a Geostorm.
baller. We should get one. Just drive it around.
So
Get it for the studio.
Yeah, heck yeah.
We'll expense it. It's
I mean,
fine.
look at it. Look,
Oh
fucking
god, that's
sweet.
disgusting. Get that off there. That's
it's like
not
what's
good.
that's like the Ford Cobalt or the Chevy Cobalt that everyone
Yeah.
had in like the early
Yeah.
2000s. Angel Has Fallen 2019.
How to
Also-
Train Your Dragon 3.
No,
Greenland,
that was
which is a
before
movie that I
yeah.
fucking love.
Greenland. Yeah, Cop Shop, which I've forgotten about, but I kind of remember liking
Cop
that
Shop
movie.
was
I
good.
just mentioned Cop
Cop
Shop
Shop
a
was
little bit
good. Me and
ago.
Chris were talking about that before you got on.
Yeah, Cop Shop
Plane-
was good.
Plane, which like surprise came out of nowhere last year, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
actually,
2 years ago now. 2 years ago.
January last year, right? Was Plane.
I think it says 2023, so it might have been the end of last year into. It might have come out in like the end of
Okay.
in the end of
Okay. It
2023.
was close.
Yeah. So upcoming after this, he's got Hand of Dante, Greenland, Migration, Just
Yep.
Watch Me, All Star Weekend, 2 Has Fallen films. He's going to be Mike Banning at least 2 more times,
Good.
and the live action, of course, of How to Train Your Dragon. So
Yep.
that's the thing. Is like I think Gerard
Perfect
Butler,
filmography. Incredible.
I think Gerard Butler's as much to do with the success of the films he's in than the films themselves. 'Cause
Sure.
He's just that guy that he just gets dudes in the seats.
He likes to work.
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I don't want to. I mean, I can see how some people might consider that, probably kind of a problem, but like I don't, because there's a place for like the 80s male action stars. There's a place for like the new action stars and like the action stars that are kind of out of it, but now finding ways to stay relevant. Like I don't mind those movies existing, kind of like, Liam Neeson. It's just, I don't mind them existing because they do have their audiences. And I don't see a problem with that, to be honest.
I don't know if
it.
anyone has a problem with those movies existing. I think it's just, we would like to see those be decent quality, and like we just highlighted, Gerard Butler's got some
stinkers in there.
lower than average quality movies too. That he's
But
been
here's
a
the thing,
part
though.
of.
He's got some good ones. In
Oh, he
there.
does. Yeah, that's what I mean. But I'd like to see him keep that average going up, not down. So I mean,
I agree. I would agree
Or
with that.
when he gets an Oscar nom for How to Train Your Dragon live action,
Listen.
we'll be like, it's fucking.
So I was just thinking,
Rents come due,
if-
baby.
if How to Train Your Dragon does well, which it's everything points to
should.
it probably will, then they're gonna make the second one as well, which means we're gonna have to watch Gerard Butler and How to Train Your Dragon 2. Kaput,
Whoa!
you know
Don't
what I mean?
say it. Don't say it.
Spoilers.
No, listen, I can't spoil
Spoilers for a movie that came out
15-year-old
10
movie
years ago.
or some shit. So no, but it's like we're gonna have to see that on screen. That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. I wonder how they're gonna do it. I don't know. Anyway,
I mean, probably with a fireball
at
right into his
least
chest.
and a big ass Durgan. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
Probably the same way that it happened in the film, but
yeah, weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
but still, I don't know. It's different when you put it in live action.
Dude, that How to
right?
Train Your Dragon trailer is fucking awesome.
It really is. I mean, it's awesome because it's literally just the first How to Train Your Dragon movie highlight.
Hey.
But,
well,
you
it's
know, it
the
works.
music though. It's the
10 of
music.
10, no notes.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm really excited to see what that's got coming up for us. But more like Gerard Butler's got this weird, so I can see why they chose to make a Den of Thieves 2 movie because they almost stripped everyone away from his original team except
Yeah.
for him.
All but him and Donnie. Like, that's it.
So Den of Thieves he was like a special task force that was given the assignment of finding these guys, these teams that rob banks, that do awful things to people, find them and stop them. And they were kind of given like unlimited resources to just do what they do and bring them down. Because there's a lot of like red tape between him and the FBI guy that by the end of the first film they're okay with each other, and like the second film kind of picks up with that and goes with it. But I like some of the things that they did with that, where they went with it. But it's Pablo Schreiber is the team lead of the guys who are trying to rob the bank. They have
He's
a plan.
in pretty good shape.
He's in excellent shape. Yeah, he really let himself go for that one. That's for sure. That's Pablo. What are you doing, Master
So
Chief?
many
Also,
abs. We don't talk about that.
Master Chief. So I remember really kind of not liking the first time I watched Den of Thieves, and then the second time I watched it 3 days ago, I thought to myself, I actually don't hate this as much as I remember hating it.
So it's on my rewatch, because I watched it at the beginning of the week. It's funnier than I remember it being, because like Big Nick is an asshole, and like it's kind of perfect for somebody like Gerard Butler. You know what I mean? Like when he's at the bar and like talking to him, keeps calling him Fraulein and all that stuff. I mean, it was funny.
Yeah.
And like it feels genuine, like he might actually be a funny dude.
Well,
so
you guys talk about how like your second viewing of it was a little better than what you remember, but also we just talked about how that movie has a twist in it, and it's not one that you can see coming.
Sure.
Now that you're watching it a second time, knowing the twist, it kind of helps that situation.
Well, yeah, because you're not looking for anything. Yeah,
exactly. So like you're kind of just more enjoying it, and with a little bit of knowledge of like motivations and where things are going to. So I think that could play into it a little bit, but I mean. There's nothing wrong with did you guys rewatch it before you watched the second one?
I did.
I
did. Yeah,
I got you. So I mean, even without being, happy or jaded about however you thought the second one was, then rewatching it feeling better about it. I mean, that's always a good sign, because some movies are just better on
rewatch.
Later watches too.
Yeah, so I get that.
So actually, last night was my night I had designated for that, but I also caught Seven. I meant to talk about this earlier. Seven in IMAX. The Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Kevin Spacey.
Ooh.
Man, what a treat that was.
What's in the box?
We can't say Kevin Spacey anymore, though, so we'll just.
What's in the box? What's in the box? He's so whiny. I love it. Actually, I never liked David Mills. I never liked Brad Pitt's David Mills, and he's too much of a child. Like he kind of went overboard with it. You
would have preferred Ben Affleck's David Mills instead?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Good, we all have the same shitty joke.
God,
perfect.
Damn it.
Fucking perfect.
What a great movie that is.
I hate it here.
Back to it is. Yeah, Chris, I think you're right. Subsequent viewings can, I think, lead to a better perception of something, especially after you let it digest. Like maybe we were too hard on it, but that's the thing. Is like I'm looking at it through. Now I want to ask you guys this, because you guys always tell me to like tamp that down a little bit. But
sure.
I'm looking at it through the lens of 2017 was just right around the time when like Netflix was queuing up all their stuff, like their originals, and like they'd been doing some, but not quite full go yet. And like to me, it's like now that we've several years past that, we're 7 or 8 years past that now. I look at it. Am I looking at it better because it's a better movie than so many? Like for instance, Heart of Stone. The movies like that, Red One, Heart of Stone, that are
you're asking if like because now it's surrounded by more crap than what it used to be. Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
is that my fault, or is that is that a problem with my perception, or is that an accurate way to look at things?
Well, I mean the whole market of what we consider a bad movie has definitely shifted.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think it plays into that whole averages thing again, right? If the average movie that comes out is more bad than good, or at the very least more mediocre than good, then so a movie that might have been considered below that line of this isn't a good film, but it's a film, it kind of it gets risen above that line if that line keeps going down. So it's possible.
I think the thing with the original Den of Thieves though is it's a watchable movie
in any context.
I mean it is, because like look, does it have some earth-shattering plot to it?
No.
Nope. You know what it does? Has a bunch of dudes fist fighting, drinking booze, going to mess around with strippers and racing cars and shooting up banks.
Well,
for like a lot of people though, that checks a lot of boxes. Be like,
true.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah. So let me ask you something. Does that fall into if your buddy's like, hey, I'm gonna go watch Den of Thieves with you, what's it about? And you say 2 words, heist movie. Do you need to say anything else?
I mean, for my friends, no, but For some people I know, they won't understand what the word heist means.
That's also fair.
That's weird. Heist and hoist.
Yeah,
Heist.
interchangeable for some people.
Very similar. Very similar.
I don't think you really have to, because if you ask me, it's like when someone says heist movie, the first one I think about is Heat. That's the first every time,
because it's
first
the
one I think
alpha.
about. Or one of the alphas, sure, but it's like
it
is again, that movie is like, I can see why people compare it. I didn't even like, of course, that was even my comparison. But then, like Roger said, I'm going to talk about The Town today. I'm like, oh shit, like that's even a better model for Den of Thieves than Heat was.
It's a more modern version of a heist movie. Because I mean, that's the thing with Heat. You know, he came out in the early '90s or the early to mid '90s. So like a lot of stuff has changed since then. Where The Town is still fairly recent. I guess I say that though, but it's so fucking 15 years ago now. But like it holds up a little bit better for the modern part of it. So. Yeah. But it's hard to do a good heist movie and have it not be, because I mean, what was the one with Kevin Hart that was on Netflix recently where they stole all that gold or whatever?
Oh God!
Like that thing was fucking atrocious, right?
Yeah, it
like
was.
Damn.
Well, he was like some weird like he was like the guy that puts it all together or whatever. Yeah. That movie was
Lyft. LYF, wasn't it? LYFT Lyft.
Yeah,
no,
that
that's
was
the
it.
car company.
Good call.
No, but it's called Lyft 2024. Oh, sorry, LIFT.
Yeah, it's actually called Lyft, not LYFT.
Not like Uber's arch nemesis.
Yeah,
fair. That's okay. Yeah, that.
By the way,
was
hold on.
atrocious.
I used Lyft while in New York. 5 out of 5. Would do it again. You know, so
5 stars.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, but
I've never had a bad experience in a Lyft or an Uber.
Yeah, see, but like I don't know. Comparing Den of Thieves to other heist movies, I don't know if it fits quite well like there either. It has its own thing going on. Now, like comparing the two Den of Thieves movies, maybe those are ones you can't compare because they feel like very different, like like end games to the films. But I don't know. I feel like a heist movie is a heist movie because but at the same time they're very different because you can talk about Den of Thieves 2 or you can talk about Ocean's 11, right? Like
sure,
those are two,
very different heist
and then
movies. Yeah.
you even go all the way to Italian Job. Like it's these are all heist movies, right? But they all three have very different flavors of heist.
Yeah,
movies.
So I mean,
and then you have Lift, which is just trash. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, I mean, I probably rate that right about what I think the Italian Job stands up now.
No, Italian Job has to be better than Lift, right? Has to be better than
Lift.
It
is. I hold on. When
Chris, you say have to be like
I haven't seen the Italian Job in a minute. Don't get me wrong, but I saw Lift recently. True. I'd watch Italian Job today if you told me I had to watch one of those two films.
Hold on, just for the Metacritic on Italian Job is 68. If the Metacritic on Lift is above, if the Metacritic on Lift is above 40,
I bet you it's like 20. What is it?
Metacritic? No, it'll be 33.
It'd be, I think, like 40 or 45.
Lift?
40, yeah, 40. Because I think
Gross.
Netflix.
Yeah, it does.
Gross.
I think Netflix artificially inflates those, to be honest with you.
But what is it for Heat?
Oh, I mean, I don't. Talking about Lift and Heat in the same sentence is an insult to Heat. But
well, sure.
I mean, hey, listen, they both got four letters in their name, right?
Heat's a 76. I think might be a few points low.
Hold on, so if you combine both Lift and Italian Job, they just eke it out. Got it. Okay.
Just barely.
Yeah.
Just snips it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But
yeah, so I mean, like, look though, that's
a different flavors.
All jokes aside, that's the kind of range you get for heist movies. Sometimes, you get Heat, which is all the way up here in The Town, and then you get Lift,
other stuff, yeah.
But then you get the Italian Job, which I mean, all jokes aside, is in the middle.
Yeah,
it's just the Italian Job. It just doesn't hold up well at all. Right?
Well, no, but
it was not many movies. Like
it was using very specific brands and technology that were very key to that time. You know what I mean? So it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Was that the movie where they debated who took Napster from who, or was that the movie about they go to the center of the earth? I don't know.
The core.
The core, yeah, was that one of those talk about Napster, and one was I don't know, but I think it was Italian Job. I don't know, but
I don't know.
You're right though. There's a lot of different, like Chris, you said, a lot of different flavors you can make, like you use to make a heist film. So yeah, I completely didn't even consider the fact that like Ocean's 11, all the Ocean's films are so different than anything that we got in Den of Thieves.
Well, I mean, I would argue the Ocean's 11 movie or the Ocean's movies are all different from each other.
That's fair too. Yeah.
And like, listen, like one of those is very good.
I mean,
and then there's a couple of them that are like very bad.
Yeah. Is Smoking Aces technically a heist movie? Even though the target's a person, you know what I mean?
I would say it's a heist film.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like imagine that.
I mean, that's borderline. But also, listen. Listen. I have a affinity for Smoking Aces,
dude.
That movie's really not that good.
I need to see that movie again because I have a very fond like headcanon of Smoking Aces.
I used to think that movie was so fucking rad. Because like, look, it is. That's a dude movie.
Yeah, I need to see if that holds up. I need to find that movie.
But also, after critically watching it,
did you ever critically watch Smoking Aces? Have you critically watched it?
So of course, not for like a show like this, but I have recently rewatched Smoking Aces.
Okay, I need,
brother. I assure you, it's not quite as good as you remember.
Well, it's got some really dramatic moments too, like when they're talking about the Heller disguise lifted his eyes, whatever, and then like the Ryan Reynolds character who wants to know like why his partner died, and it's got some really.
Then you also have Chris Pine running around with a chainsaw and got his fingers shot off by a little kid with an erection.
That's true.
like look, you remember that as a joke, then you're gonna watch it on the film again. You're gonna be like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, but then you have those really awesome sequences, like when they were shooting at the sniper, and all those agents are just getting blown away by the sniper one by one. They're
Taraji P. Henderson just racking them.
But that was like before Ryan Reynolds was like Ryan Reynolds.
Dude, there's a lot of like really famous people in that movie too.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like, what a cast that is.
Okay, Jeremy Piven, Ryan Reynolds, Ray Liotta, Joseph Ruskin, Ben Affleck, Peter Berg, Wayne Newton for some reason. Martin Henderson. Back when Martin Henderson was still relevant. Common.
Why is Wayne Newton catching random strays? Like, what is that?
Grayson hates Wayne Newton. Little known fact: Grayson hates Wayne Newton.
I don't know Wayne Newton. Alicia Keys, Taraji P. Henson, Andy Garcia too. Like he always plays that weird kind of like he's above it all and he's controlling everything, but he's not controlling everything.
Yeah,
he always plays that guy. And then Mike Falco is like it's just. That's a big cast for the time too.
Yeah, it was a very flashy movie for the time too.
I could see like an episode dedicated to Smoking Aces.
Dude, sometime you talk about that movie's wild for my memory. I need to rewatch that.
It's wild for any memory. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Den of Thieves. It's like so. I
almost made a semen reference for
Don't do it.
Aces.
I'm really sorry I cut that off. I shouldn't have. Cut that.
Shame on you.
Shame on you, indeed.
Listen, all jokes aside, though, rewatch Smoking Aces and come back and be like,
no,
because like, look, it's still funny, and you're still gonna be like, yeah, that's really not very good.
It's on Amazon. I have to buy it though, but
no, you don't.
Oh, okay, you got a copy lying around?
Roger has.
Actually, I probably have that on Blu-ray for real.
That's actually fair.
So
100%.
So just to wrap up our conversation of the original Den of Thieves here, it's like it's a guy movie that is fun to watch that I can break out once every 2 or 3 years and have a good time with it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I watch it every week? No. It's not even a movie that you can like. There are some great movies that are on my list I still haven't purchased, or like Apple, like even though I see them for like $1 or $2 up to $5 because they're just not that they're just not a listenable movie. I don't think the Den of Thieves is one of those movies where like it's easy to follow along by listening to. It's just not that kind of movie for me. Maybe if I've seen it,
it's not a good background.
No,
not a good background movie just to throw on as you're doing other things. It doesn't really fit that.
I agree, and so here's the thing: people are saying that. Well, people are talking about don't spoil the twist. Well. The twist in Den of Thieves 2 is on the fucking poster, people. It tells you the score is still not even. So the big twist that comes in the end, like by the end of the film, the score is going to have to be even. And to do that, the reverse has to happen of instead of O'Shea Jackson pulling a fast one, Gerard Butler's got to pull the fast one. So like I hate hearing that because like, well, all the promotional material told you what was going to happen. If you didn't pick up on that, that's on you. But
so you're spoiling Den of Thieves then, huh?
Yeah, I got it. Cool.
But you don't know how. But I
know how it gets spoiled. I watched it.
You've seen it. Correct. How busy was your auditorium? Let me ask you, Roger.
So I went first showing the day on this past. We're recording on Sunday, so it was on Friday morning.
Mm-hmm.
There were 4 people in my auditorium.
All right.
Me and my wife, some random guy, and some random guy.
Nice.
Yeah, that was it.
It was a Saturday night, so it was pretty packed in a decent sized auditorium, maybe like 50, 60 people. Yeah, it wasn't a bad showing, and it was a lot of popcorn. Though that's another thing I like to talking about more is like it's also a popcorn movie.
It is a popcorn movie.
Although it's much slower than you'd anticipate.
But it's longer than I thought it needed to be for
sure. I saw the runtime
for sure, but
long.
It is slower. I realize as well.
I do have an old man complaint about this.
Yeah.
Not the movie itself.
You got a cloud?
About my theater experience.
Oh, okay.
It was devastatingly fucking cold in my movie theater.
Oh, that's
and I mean
great.
Like uncomfortably cold.
Wait a minute, mine too, actually.
Whoa.
I mean, you're in California and I'm not.
No, but like that's weird how like mine was like so cold that like I was gonna leave in the next 10 minutes if the movie didn't wrap up.
Like I it snowed quite a bit around here over this past week. So I actually had like my heavy winter coat. I'd already taken it off and put it in the seat beside me.
Yeah.
Like I literally took it off the seat and was like wearing it like a blanket to try to. Yeah, it was fucking freezing in there.
Yeah. The wife probably didn't enjoy that either.
Oh God, she was so not into that.
Oh man, yep.
And of course, you had I'm sure, Roger, you also had a large, as you traditionally do, had a large beverage with you as well.
Yeah, but it was. I mean, that really wasn't that big of a deal. But listen, it definitely didn't add to the warmth of this theater.
Yeah.
So
Den of Thieves 2, tomato meter 58, and the popcorn meter 78. So people are liking this a lot more than the critics, which I think was a given from the get-go.
That lines up. Yeah, that's
I mean,
fine.
like, look, that fits this movie perfectly.
I bet you if you looked up every Gerard Butler movie, it's going to be that way. Right? You know what I mean? So,
well, I mean, the dregs, sure.
Den of Thieves. So the Metacritic is a surprising 59. To me, that's a few points. Maybe 5 or 6 points too high. Maybe 10 points too high. I don't know. But
I mean, listen, when you get above 60 on Metacritic, though, like you're starting to talk about like good movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's 1 point below, which I don't know if you'd consider that. Well, it's almost there, or no, it's strictly not there. But
I mean, I don't really consider this movie a good movie, so it's probably not there.
Well, this movie's about one guy evening the score with someone who got him before. Like that's what this is. Like he's tracking Gerard Butler's character. Nick is tracking down Danny to either bring him in or somehow thwart his plan.
Sure.
And instead of he joins his so instead of Gerard Butler's team, we then then shift to a singular Gerard Butler who then joins Danny's team. That's his name, Danny, right? Danny's team Donnie's team to do another heist, which I had to read. I didn't know is modeled after a real diamond heist.
Oh
so,
yeah, I guess.
So this is it's supposed to be like after like a real thing, and it's just two men, and I guess I didn't know how this was going to play out. I really didn't know how this was going to go because like it's one of those movies. Like, is there really a sequel to this? Like, why? But if you remember in the end of the first film, he was gone. He had given them the slip. He was handcuffed. He got out of his cuffs, and he was off enjoying the money that was in the wrong truck, and they don't reveal to you is in the wrong truck for many, right before the end of the film.
Sure.
But it's one of those
$30 million in cash unaccounted, or that is fully accounted for from the Federal Reserve. Yes.
It's going to be shredded, so no one's going to be looking for it.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is brilliant, by the way. Brilliant plan. But so then and then we see him enjoying his time in London. He's a bartender, and the story has to continue somewhat, but sequel, not really sure. But we did get a sequel. Here's my first question to you: did we get a sequel because there was a story to tell, or did we get a sequel because Gerard Butler was like, okay, I'm interested in doing a sequel. What do you got?
Yes.
Sorry, the latter then. The second one. Okay, fair. Chris, what say you?
I don't know exactly. I was actually just, since you posed the question, I was looking at the box office success of the first Den of Thieves to see if maybe it was like, hey, we got room to do this again, right? That kind of deal. So, but if I had to guess, it's because they had Gerard Butler for something, and they said, well, what do we have that's easy and we can spin up with Chat GPT, and that's probably what we get.
I mean, I just don't understand why we get this sequel after 6-7 years. Like this sequel should have been 3 or 4 years ago, probably, for it to be overly impactful. But I mean, like, look, it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's leading the box office in the United States. It'll probably have a decent amount of money worldwide.
So the last one just barely broke even. It was 30 million budget, and it made 80 million worldwide. So
Okay.
it broke even by after marketing and such.
Yeah, it cleared, but not by much.
At best, it broke even probably. So
I mean, listen, I assume that this movie will make a decent amount. What's the budget for this guy?
I'm looking now.
But I mean, I assume that after 15 million the first week, so that's the thing though. Like this thing's going to get swallowed up by other R-rated stuff.
Yeah.
Especially especially with well, not just that too. Is like it's gonna run into.
Guess the budget.
50.
Grayson.
Because you said that, I'm gonna go with 70.
It's 40.
Oh wow, okay.
That's impressive. Making a movie almost 10 years later or whatever, or what 6 years later, and how expensive they are now, and what's in this movie. That's actually kind of impressive. 40 million being all that they spent on it.
And it's shot mostly in France, Italy.
Yeah, I was expecting to see 70, 80, maybe close to 100. So, dang, 40 million.
Well, I mean, like, look, that means that if it breaks 100, it makes more than its money back.
Yeah,
that's good for them.
Yeah,
which is a makeable number. But I mean, here's the thing, though. We're talking about it like as a win for that, but like, is $100 million for a Gerard Butler heist movie? Does that really sound natural to you?
We just talked about Gerard Butler's filmography, though. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like it's almost like, oh, this one made 100. Cool. You know what I mean? Where it's not like like it has to make 100. We're not surprised if it makes 33. You know what I mean? It's just it seems to be the way that like his filmography kind of goes. But like if it makes 100, good for it, because we see what the previous one's success is, and if it can do more than break even, then it's a good move. But like, to go back to the original question, why did it, was this made because Gerard Butler said, hey, I want to make one. What do you have? Or they said, hey, we have Gerard Butler for one more. What's a sure bet to at least break even so we can use up this contract? It's probably the latter.
So those numbers actually line up really well to Plane. So,
okay, yeah.
Well, budget was lower for Plane. Budget was only 25 for Plane, which is impressive. But I mean, it made 75 worldwide, and
it's almost like a Blumhouse effect. It's like
kind of. It's just like we'll make a movie for less than 40 million or less. It'll make 75 plus, and we'll just keep moving right along.
Yeah, because like I said, Plane came out around the same time last year. Like you guys said, 2023 puts it like probably December. This is January. It's a Gerard Butler film, which he's in both of those. Is the commonality there? It's almost like they're like, okay, what's something we can kind of throw into that that slower after the holiday slot, and see if we can't just
consistently make $100 million.
Yeah, break even or make some money on. And it's if that's the game plan and it's working, all right, cool. Someone, it's kind of like Liam Neeson, right? Like like, let's slap something together for 60 million or whatever. Pay Liam 10, and whatever agreements we have to make where he doesn't have to run for more than 20 minutes of filming time. Then we'll get him for it, and we'll probably make some money back on it. That sounds about right.
Consistently consistent, buddy.
Yeah, but like, this isn't Den of Thieves 2. Well, opening weekend is 15.5. Like, do you expect another? If the budget's 40, opening's 15.5, do you even expect to make 40 back?
No, but at the same...
I mean, domestically, probably not. Yeah. Overall, sure.
Yeah, it depends on the worldwide ends up being, because the worldwide made more than the domestic.
Yeah, would you be surprised with what comes out? So Wolfman comes out next week, which will be the 17th. The Wolfman in September 5th goes wide. September 5 goes wide. Okay, like, I wouldn't be surprised if this makes another $8 to $10 million in week 2. After that, all bets are off the table.
Yeah.
But I would say it probably would make about that amount of money.
Yeah.
Which I also don't think, like, this is the slower box office time of year, though. So what you consider a win, because, like, look, if we were talking about 4th of July weekend and the leading movie was $15 million, we'd be like, Jesus Christ, the sky is falling.
Yeah.
No one's going to the second weekend of January, it's fine.
Yeah.
You get to tout #1 movie in America.
Yeah. Also, I'd be willing to bet that, we joke about, like, the United States and like who's watching movies. there's a large portion of probably the biggest movie watching demographic in the United States that isn't able to watch movies right now as well because of the situation in LA, right?
That is true.
You know
The
what I mean?
LA numbers are part of, California's numbers are going to directly impact a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, just in the county that Grayson's in alone, there's over 10 million with another 5 million in county north and south of it. So like a 20 million person radius, which is basically not able to do everything they want to do. So like that stuff does matter too. So yeah.
I agree. I agree. So we don't get many reprising roles in this. Just Jerry Butler. We got the FBI agent back for a minute. O'Shea Jackson. But the movie's about those two men. Is about the two men doing the heist. So like that's where your focus is, and like so naturally you'd expect there to be a good chemistry or like the good chemistry or like anti-chemistry between these two guys. So Roger, let me ask you first, and then Chris. Do you think that this movie achieved that of like getting these two guys to do well together on screen, to look like they fit together, that they were a team? Do you think that worked?
I think it works. I think it worked just fine. I also do want to make a comment about O'Shea Jackson Jr., who has officially completed his complete metamorphosis into his father. Looks exact. I mean, good God, man, that dude. The genetics are strong.
Yeah,
strong in that. So, yeah, I mean, like, look, I think they play well together on the screen. Like, we have a couple of long sequences with just them, like, basically doing the guy thing where, like, I might kill you, I might not kill you, so let's get drunk, like one of those kind of things, which is like definitely a guy movie trope at this point. So,
you think Den of Thieves 3 and 4 will kind of like follow the line of Lethal Weapons and stuff
Den of
too?
Thieves.
Well, I could see how they're. I mean, they somewhat set it up for 3.
Keanu Reeves in the third one, Den of Reeves.
Yeah, there you go. Den of Reeves. Yep. Yeah, there you go.
Listen.
Oh no, they definitely open the door for a third Den of Thieves. Listen, do I hope we get one?
I don't hear. No. Here's the thing. My theory of why that Gerard Butler's doing all these action movies now, like the two more Has Fallen films, and he wanted the How to Train Your Dragon stuff now, which I think he might have some, depending on where they go with the character, some physicality stuff. Is like he's just getting too old to do these, and he's like, I want to just get them all done. Yeah. Like I want to do 2 more Mike Banning. I want to do another Den of Thieves, maybe something else, and then I'm done with all the physical crap. I'm just
look. I honestly appreciate Gerard Butler more as an aging action star than I do as like leading peak man. Like I'm going to kick everybody's ass. Like now he seems like far more relatable.
Yeah,
where like he used to be a guy that could kick everybody's ass.
He's in his 50s, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, you could be right, Grayson. He could be kind of like, all right, I got to get these done,
Stack
guys.
Some paychecks.
So what do you guys got? Just people are firing them away at him because Greenland and Greenland 2 are coming out pretty close together. You know what I mean? Considering that he's also done Den of Thieves 2 and some other things, projects in between. So.
Yeah, I really did like Greenland. I thought that was a good movie.
Yeah,
I thought the idea behind it was cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I didn't get to see this one. You guys did, and like watching this movie, does it like we kind of talked about it a little bit, but I want to ask the question during the conversation too. Like, does this feel like a direct sequel to Den of Thieves, or does this feel a little out of place on like if someone said, "Hey, I love Den of Thieves 1, should I watch Den of Thieves 2?" You probably like, can you say, "Oh, well, if you like the first one, yeah, go see the second one," or is the way the like this one flows, is it too far removed from the first one to really say that, and you have to pivot to like something else?
I think it's close enough.
Okay.
With each movie, like here's the thing: if you like the first Den of Thieves, there's no reason you shouldn't like the second Den of Thieves. Now, like, look, is it the same movie repeated? No, it's not. Mm-hmm. They actually toned down Nick's character a little bit because like he is basically fucking unhinged in the first one.
Yeah.
In this one, he's kind of a little bit more calm down.
He's older and wiser now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, older, yes. But like besides that, not a whole lot overlaps. Besides, like Grayson made a mention of them too. You see a lot more of the actual planning of the heist, which you don't really see in the first movie. For better or for worse. Like, listen, if you're into a heist movie, like it absolutely checks every box for it. You got a guy on communications, you got a driver, you got you got the tech guy, you got all that shit, right?
Got the fall guy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, we weren't, but the first one they weren't like we weren't in the planning team
No,
of the
we
heist. We
weren't.
were trying to stop them.
Yeah.
So like I could see like that's an interesting dichotomy there. And I want to say something, Roger, when you're done with
No,
yours.
go ahead.
I was gonna say Chris, I'm gonna go the opposite direction of Roger. I don't think it's a close enough
Okay.
1-to-1. Now I think this comes down to like a personal choice.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't if you've only seen Heat 2 or sorry, Heat. If you've only seen Den of Thieves
Heat
2,
yes.
if you've only seen Den of Thieves 2 Pantera, you'd never reference Heat. You'd never reference the town because you don't get that. You get the shootout in the end of Den of Thieves is you remember you have some guys in a car, Pablo Schreiber's crew, what's left of them, and they look there. He's like 20 cars back. He sees them, was like, they're our guys chasing us, and they slowly start to assemble their gear, put their rifles together, put the ammo in, put their vests on, and then Pablo slips out of the car. He goes to the front, puts the legs of the machine gun right on them, and he zeros them. His guys get in position, and they open fire, and then it's like a big firefight. But like that's Heat. What we get in Den of Thieves 2 is a weird, very quick car chase that's over way too soon, and it's kind of very lackluster. Yep. Almost like they wanted to focus more on the heist in this film than the shootout. But the reason I would imagine that Den of Thieves got the repeat viewings that it did by people who may have liked it was because of the shootout.
Okay.
So the shootout in Den of Thieves 1 definitely reminds me of the Sicario scene crossing the end of the border crossing. Sicario.
Well, any number of those. I mean, there's like 6 or 7 movies that you could say, and I wouldn't argue with you. Absolutely.
And the Bad Boys 2 kind of deal.
Yeah. That's not a bad way to put it.
Like that Bad Boys clip thing I sent you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'm going to go the opposite direction and say I don't think it is close enough. And as a matter of fact, people are saying this should have been a different movie with Gerard Butler. It shouldn't have been a sequel to Pantera.
Well, I mean, Thieves. I mean, like, because we talked about, like heist movies, earlier before we started this conversation. It's like Den of Thieves was like the first Den of Thieves wasn't a heist movie. I feel
it's more of a cops and robbers kind of thing.
Yeah, it really is with a big shootout that people did talk about being like a really well done action scene. So I mean, like, we see plenty of movies where like that one action scene pays it off. Like Troy's kind of like that for me in some ways. Between Hector and Achilles, like that movie could have been even worse all around it, but because of that fight scene, that movie would have always been as high on my list as it is because how good that scene was, like that moment for me. I've heard people talk about Den of Thieves, the first ones, that big shootout scenes like that is like that's a really cool scene.
It's a good scene.
Yeah, like so much so like I have I've seen that, I've seen clips of that on YouTube and stuff. People make videos about it and stuff. So it's like going from that to then I was talking about a heist films to compare to Den of Thieves 2, like they don't jive in that sense. It doesn't mean that this shouldn't be Den of Thieves 2. I actually kind of commend it for going outside of its box. Like the box everyone wants to put it in is what it was.
Yeah.
And they took some characters that that they think are interesting enough to make movies about, and then do something a little bit different. You don't see that often. That's actually in its own way kind of commendable. So and they did it with a similar budget than as the first one, and they're trying to see how that kind of shakes out. So good on them for it.
We just saw
it's
this.
Interesting.
We just saw this with Joker, the second Joker film.
No, that's different. Hold on. Okay, I see what you're saying, but that wasn't done that way for any other reason than. So that was studio greed.
Yeah,
sure. As one piece,
sure.
And
fair enough.
And then there was a little bit of smugness in execution as well.
Douchebaggery.
It's a whole different thing than this studio and the people involved going, hey, you did this for this much before. Can you do this for this much now? And they go, yeah, I think we can.
Well,
and they do something cool with it.
I think the transition to a cops and robbers type movie to a cops and heist type movie is a lot closer than Joker to Joker 2.
Yeah, and it also further shifts the relationship between like the two main characters in Den of Thieves, right? Yeah. Which opens the door to more things afterwards, like as possibilities. Which I think that's a cool move too.
Yeah, without bearing lead, they absolutely leave the door open for where there could be a third Den of Thieves movie.
Yeah. So
do I believe that'll ever happen? No, I don't.
Okay, like if you guys had to pick a genre for it to go into, then if it goes from action shootout, cops and robbers to heist film, to blank, what does it go to that makes sense?
Mafia.
Keeping the characters rolling along.
Mafia movie.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Come on, dude.
But
So without giving away the ending of the gangster movie?
Yes, it is.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, you could name anything and it'd be a subgenre. You know what I mean?
Sure. Okay, fine.
First off.
Mafia is not like drama, thriller.
Italian mob. Yes.
Fine.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So like a mafia style movie. What about you, Grayson? What do you see that third iteration of Den of Thieves? Den of Reeves. What is what genre is that?
Word is fucking Thieves.
Could be Reeves.
Oh my god.
Trademark. I'm gonna get the little button and just stamp.
I think you'd have to go with.
It's gotta be different than the first two.
He's breaking. One of them is breaking the other out of prison without revealing who's doing what. One of them is breaking the other out of prison because of guilt.
Okay, a jailbreak thing. It's kind of like a heist, but
already happened.
But related.
He's already told you it's already happened.
Oh man,
that's the end of Den of Thieves 2.
Oh man,
spoiler.
Sure, but again, it ends with one person going to prison, the other guy not.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I mean, but
okay.
But they strangely did leave a massive door open for the third film, which I thought. But I mean, if we were looking at a $45 million opening weekend because people love Gerard Butler, yeah, we could be talking about what the third film is going to be. But I 15.5 is not that.
I don't think the story. Here's the thing. As much as I don't mind these movies, and honestly, that's all I ever feel about it. I will never be like Den of Thieves fucking awesome. Den of Thieves 2 fucking awesome. They're fine.
Yeah.
They are fine.
I think the third one should be a courtroom drama. You know what I mean?
Could be.
Really shake it up.
I mean, it wasn't, but not the original court, like the appellate case.
Yeah.
After somebody's appealed, right? You get real deep into it.
Some weird,
that's great.
Some weird, law,
super Law and Order,
law degree thing,
dun.
Write research papers on it. Yeah, that'd be good.
This is our revisiting of the Den of Thieves case. The Italian court case.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
International law.
Somehow there's a big shootout in the courtroom. I don't know.
It has to be.
Look, man, when I watched that, I basically watched that happen in the one Bond movie, right? Where they shoot up. Wasn't court though? Wasn't that the prime minister?
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
So yeah.
Which
is an awesome, it's Skyfall, which is fucking awesome, by the way.
Good movie, by the way.
Yeah, Skyfall. Listen, can we just talk about Skyfall for a while?
Listen, we could, but we're not going to.
Okay, so funny story. When I got out of 7, I got really.
Is this a Skyfall story?
I was gathering my thoughts for 7, and I got really bummed out that we were talking about Den of Thieves 2 and not 7.
But you're talking about 7 for a while.
I was really upset because I'm like, God, that movie's so good. It's like
7 is fucking. It's a great movie, man.
7 goes back to a time when every week you went to the movies, you were getting a steak made by someone who only makes steaks and makes them well. These days, you're getting your steak made by the guy who's trying to get out the door while also finish sending a text and a tweet at the same time.
You're saying they're Hungry Man's, microwave dinners kind of deal.
We just don't get that.
I think they still kind of hold up, though.
It says steak in really big letters, but underneath, above it in really small print, it says Salisbury. Salisbury steak microwave dinner. Yeah.
I don't know why we come here just besmirch Salisbury steaks.
I love Salisbury steak.
That's some good. I grew up poor, brother. Those Salisbury steaks are the fucking shit.
Dude, do I look like a man that besmirches Salisbury steak?
You definitely you're pro Salisbury steak. I get it.
Do I look like a man that besmirches Salisbury steak?
How did we get here? Anyway, carry on.
This is the best part of this episode.
I was really upset. I was really upset that I couldn't talk about 7 because God, that movie's so good. And I also saw Juror number. I hope you guys take time to watch.
No, I did see that you you mentioned out that we should watch Juror number 2. I hate to think I'm down for doing that.
I heard that that Nicholas Hoult is fantastic in it. Gives a great performance in it too.
He's either amazing or he's awful. I can't decide which. Honestly, when if you see the movie, you understand exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So he's also a guy who's been very busy lately.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll take that role.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Is there a 5 and 6 zeros to follow? Because if so, I'm in.
5 and 6 zeros.
Or is it 5 0? Whatever. Anyway, but yeah, it's just, am I disappointed? Here's the question that everyone's like, am I disappointed with Den of Thieves 2? I can't say I'm disappointed. The big action set piece I was expecting to get, I got I would say I got half of it in the end. And then again, you can't blame someone going into Den of Thieves 2 like upset because they didn't get the shootout they wanted when like that was what made the first movie what it was.
Yeah.
So the thing in the car is a little tough to. It's just not the same kind of level of like just excitement that the first one gave you.
Well, no, I mean, again, though, if you want to talk about the car chase for just a minute, the car chase is lackluster.
It's
Like
extremely lackluster.
He's got a fully modified, completely tricked out Porsche Taycan, which is a hell of a 4-wheel drive 4-door sports car, and he doesn't do anything cool with it.
We talking about the Geostorm again?
Yes.
Cool.
Like fully tricked out. But like besides shooting a couple people, like that car chase is pretty lame. It's even up in the Italian countryside up this giant ridge road, which looks like be an awesome scene for like a cool mountainside car chase. And besides them shooting a couple bullets back and forth at each other, it's pretty soft. So like, and for him being, because remember Donnie's the driver in the first movie, like that's what he's touted as. Not really seeing it, Don.
Gotcha.
I expected better here.
It's almost like they didn't go back and check the spark notes from the first film. They didn't watch the first movie. Well, I'm serious.
We also only get to see Donnie drive once.
Like you finally get to see him do his thing, and like he doesn't even do it. Like that's the whole thing. The first film is he's the driver.
Car scenes are expensive, though, aren't they?
They are.
They probably had a budget target to stay in with this, so it makes sense that would be something that gets kind of like pushed away if they can. If they can get, going heist makes sense if it's 8 years later and things are more expensive to make now. You know what I mean?
True.
That
they should have stole some real diamonds. Is that what you're saying?
That same movie probably cost $60 million to make instead of 30. So it's
40.
Yeah. Can we also talk about one thing I do want to talk about the movie wise is so like they robbed the one of the world diamond exchanges in Nice, which is where it's set up. Apparently, like, and here's the thing: I never looked, and I probably will never care to actually look to see how accurate of a setting this actually is. I'm sure it's mostly.
I don't need that from my my Den of Thieves movie.
But like, I assume that it's relatively close to the setup that they have there. But like, they have this entire like block of this city, which is basically guarded, and you get to go in and out. And that's where all the diamonds, and then like in that part of the world, go through for exchange, for sale, and everything. But like the last line of defense in this movie, besides a super high tech security system, like state of the art, everything you could ever imagine, is basically just some dude that lives in the upstairs apartment that goes before he goes to bed every night has to go like lock everything down by himself.
What?
Yeah.
Like that's, but like no joke.
That's
like
crazy.
That's
okay.
And I'm just like, this guy's like the steward of the diamond, like.
The keeper of diamonds.
Yeah, like he's got a fucking Chaos Emerald locked up in his vault. He's got to go check it every night before he goes to bed. Like, oh, good night, little diamonds. Flips all the fucking lights off. Like, what the fuck?
So he's like, I mean, he's like Gollum who got the ring.
Yeah, he's just the concierge that just runs this fucking building. Like, it's fucking dumb. It's fucking dumb.
Well, it's just.
But I mean, like maybe shit is really like that. I guess honestly, it may be accurate, but it's just. I thought that was just dumb as hell. They don't have like a security sweep at the end of the night with like them and a bunch of guards. The last line of defense really is just this single guy, just be like, "All right, everything's good, lock it down."
Well, and I thought that all the planning and then the execution of the heist was also kind of a letdown.
Sure.
Again, every aspect of this movie to me is a letdown. But I think I was just trying, while you're talking, I was trying to ascertain like if someone's like, which movie is better quality wise? Because some of the
quality wise or story wise, because I think those are two different questions.
Yeah, it's fair.
Well, story wise, I think the first one's probably a little better.
There's more unknowns, so I think it's easier to pull that off too, though.
Sure.
In fairness, but it doesn't make it any less relevant. You know what I mean?
Well, I think the story in the first one's more intriguing too, because like you learn more about Nick as a person. Like his fucking life is shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's basically, his marriage is a wreck. He's a shitty person, and like he gets bested by this dude, and like that's a better story than the story we get here. You know what I mean? Like he's like finally has an idea that he can bring down like this whole group of guys that have just been knocking off bank after bank, and like I think that's a better story. Where listen, this movie overall, from 1 to 2, 2 is a better movie. Sure, I don't think it's any more enjoyable or less. You know what I mean?
Listen,
I
think
I
it's
prefer
a
the
better
first
movie, but less enjoyable because
Yeah,
there's no
honestly.
shootout. There's no.
Well, it's honest. All jokes aside, it's not as cool as the first one.
It's missing its smoking aces.
Yeah,
moment.
it doesn't have the like. There's no flamboyant here.
Yeah.
Like it's like all right, we tried to get this a little bit more serious. And besides the fact, like it's not nearly as funny. It doesn't have the funny moments. Like remember in the first Den of Thieves when he goes to his wife to sign the divorce papers at like their former friend's house, and like she's on a date with some other guy, and just how fucking awkward that whole scene is. Like one of the most like cringiest scenes you could ever watch is you're just like, oh man, like this is just so fucking bad. But like there's none of that here besides the fact that like he gets messed up on ecstasy at this party.
They used up all those jokes and situations in the first one,
but they didn't have to, right? Because like we get some weird douchebag antagonist that's actually they end up kicking them off their own team, which is also a weird thing in this movie, right? Like I don't know. It's just this movie just doesn't do it, man.
Gotcha.
Well, I wanted to try to switch up where we do the thumbs, but I mean, I guess we could do the thumbs right now, Roger, since you and I were the two that saw it.
I'll count you guys in.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1. What we got?
Yeah,
that's what I was feeling too.
But I mean, like, here's the thing: from 10,000 feet, a second Den of Thieves movie sounds like a good idea. Like it really does. Like especially because like as long as you understand the first one's not going to win a fucking Oscar.
Yeah.
Like it checks every box for a dude, cops and robbery.
It sounds like if you're going to make the second Den of Thieves movie, you got to like make the second Den of Thieves
movie.
Yeah,
you need more of the first movie.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it sounds like.
I understand. Missing. Listen, not everybody's coming back for the first movie. Like there's a nice body count at the end of Den of Thieves, right?
Yeah.
But like this is not it. It's not the same. That's not the same vein or anything.
It's quite honestly, it's one of those things where it's like it's hard to talk about something, you know, when you can tell that it just isn't up to snuff, right?
Sure.
And it's one of those things where you want to pay homage to something, you want to be respectful of ideas and writing and stuff and all this, but like in the end, someone made a weird choice, a wrong choice, and it doesn't translate.
The other part of this movie's long.
It is
like
if it ain't riveting, man, if it ain't riveting, then long is hard, right?
I don't ever want to go to the point and say like Den of Thieves 2 is boring. It's never boring.
Fair.
But I'll tell you what, it's not super exciting for a long period of time. Like it's watchable.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's fucking forgettable.
Well, here's the thing. It's like
if we were talking, like if I had to watch this movie this week and we were to talk and I hadn't, and like for whatever reason we didn't do this episode for 3 weeks, I would have completely fucking forgot this movie. Yeah. Completely forgot it.
That's what I was gonna say. Like how? So when did you watch it, Roger?
I watched it Friday, 3 days ago, 2 days ago.
Can you, outside of the big pieces you're supposed to remember, do you remember much about this movie? I don't.
I mean, I'm really good at remembering like weird tidbits, but yeah, I mean, here's the thing: I do, but there's nothing that sticks out as like, oh, very memorable, very memorable.
Because
like
one thing
there is no like standoff like at the end of the first Den of Thieves where, after he banged his girlfriend or whatever, and they have this weird standoff in the kitchen at that apartment. You don't even get a scene that's anywhere near that kind of tense. Nothing.
And that was like a fun, like, this is interesting, tense moment.
Yeah.
Because, like, what's going to pop off here? There's a gun on the counter. There's a naked woman in the next room. Like, what's going to happen? Yeah. It's like, it's all kind of interesting. And then it just, 3 minutes go by and, like, you haven't taken a breath yet because you're wondering. It's just, there wasn't any of that. Because the first one, I think, was built on, like, because there are several moments where they wrote it to be edgy and tense. They wrote it to give Gerard Butler, like, he literally walks out of the bathroom just after having sex with Pablo Schreiber's girlfriend, and Pablo Schreiber walks in the door. Go. Like they literally engineered it to be like that.
Peak awkward.
And we never got those moments in this film. Like I appreciate the fact that they start with he now has a better rapport with the FBI guy. They're friends, and he's like he's dealing with the divorce in his hands. Like he's got the papers, and that carries over from the first film, and like what's going to happen. Like, is he going to talk to his daughters? Is he like, they don't really do anything with that, because you're right, Roger. They did have a guy who not only lost his marriage, but then was bested by a guy that he considered was nullified in the back of his truck. Not a worry at all. And then the guy got away. They could have done so much more with like his psyche, like what's going on, and like why this time he's going to be like, it's just, there's a lot more that they could have done that they chose not to do anything with.
Well, the other thing too is we have no idea how much time has passed in Den of Thieves world, right? So it is clearly like we are past the first movie, obviously, but Donnie is entrenched wherever he's at. So like you have the idea that it's multiple years later, but they never say how long. So like I think that's a problem, because like look, 6 years is a long time.
Yeah.
It's a long time. So I don't know.
7. No. Well, yeah, 2018 to 20. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was splitting hairs, but
either
let's call it 6 and change. And
okay.
But yeah, I mean, like that's part of the issue too. One, did we need a second Den of Thieves movie?
No,
I would say no.
I would agree with you. As you guys saw when I first saw a trailer, I was like, "What? There's a sequel to this?" Like I was
good trailer.
Yeah, the one thing I do on it, because like me and Chris talked about this. That Den of Thieves, that fucking trailer.
That's a good trailer.
That trailer rips.
That trailer sold that
movie does not.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's
cold dead stare.
But you can have a good long build up with it. Like you can have those films, and they do exist, and there are so many to name. One of them that's like one of my favorite examples is, you guys remember, Chris? You may have seen it. You like war films, Roger. I think you and I have talked about it before. Just two of us. The Great Raid with James Franco.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
About the breaking the U.S. prisoners of war out of the camp, at the Cabanatuan camp towards the end of the war. It's like, that's a long lead up. That's like a 2.5 hour film with a long lead up of planning and talking and planning and talking. And then we go to the brother, I forget, not Voldemort, but the other guy, Ralph, the other Fiennes brother, who's sick, and then he's trying to get in touch with the woman, Diane Lane. It's like, and then we like the last 20 minutes is pretty much firefight, action, go,
action, go.
Like, that movie works well because the pacing wasn't off, and I also wasn't expecting that because of a previous film, but this one again, if you're going to have a long film where all they do is talk about pulling off a heist, you have to do something in the end to get me to wake to like, oh shit, here we go. And we never got that. And that weird firefight in the cars, that's not it. You might say that, like, well, that was meant to be it. Well, that was a very poor attempt at recreating the magic of the first film. And that's where I have a problem. How can you not know the magic of the first film? It's the shootout and Gerard Butler. There's two things here, people. You have to do two things right, and you didn't.
The formula seems simple, right?
Yeah,
so.
I mean,
it sure does.
Yeah.
But I guess just for me, I'm disappointed. And now the more I think about it, Chris, like, I was like, oh, Chris would, I think, really dig that. I'm not so sure. And I'll tell you why, is because I think we talk about one of the cardinal sins a movie can do is waste your time.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of bordering on that complete a waste of time.
If you're not a huge Gerard Butler guy, or if you're not a huge heist movie, like you'll see every heist movie because you love heist movies. This doesn't sound like it's
like. Look,
it's
man, I'll write you a list of heist movies that are better than
this.
this.
Yeah, exactly. Like this one isn't ringing the bell, right? This is just kind of there, part of the whole the show.
It doesn't even crack top 25.
Yeah, so it's I don't.
It's unfortunate, gentlemen.
Yeah, long run times are tough when a movie doesn't have you. So I don't know, it just doesn't sound like it's.
I'll have to go through. I'll have to go through and map out my heist movies.
Yeah,
save it for next time we talk about a heist movie. So.
Yeah.
That might be 2 years from now.
It could be.
Yeah.
You never know.
Good. We got enough going on. Got a lot of stuff cooking.
Right, gentlemen.
It's true.
Thank you very much for joining me for this episode. Episode 12 of Post Credits Podcast.
1, 2, 12, like that? I can't tell.
Wow. Wow. I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
I can't tell.
Once again, folks, this is episode 12 of Post Credits Podcast.
12.
We talk about movies. Thank you for joining us. This has been, of course, episode 12. I keep saying that. Sorry.
Keep saying episode 12.
It sounds like you're going to drop it off there.
Hey, this is episode 12.
Post 12.
Thanks. Check us out. Like us on YouTube. Put a comment in there. Tell us that we look fucking awesome. We're now in 4K, so you can see
well,
all
half of us.
Sweet gray and my beard and the reflections of the light looking far better than what we had ever had it at before.
True.
So, yeah, give us a heads up. Something you want us to talk about, let us know. Want to call me a piece of garbage? Sure, that happens in real life. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, listen.
Anything else we need to say? Wrap it up. Close her down.
You've been called garbage before?
I mean, by people in this fucking room, buddy.
I was gonna say, it's just a